Welcome back to another video that you're choosing to spend your time to hear from me, someone who was a persuadable. A month ago, I truly didn't know who I was going to vote for. I've always identified as non-political, but I also vote. I'm one of those people. And clearly, enough people like me thought alike, and Trump ended up getting elected. Here in 2024, he won the vote. And specifically, all 7 swing states, specifically, that's pretty remarkable. So why did this happen? Ideally, there are Democrats watching this, and they can learn from me and maybe turn this around on their end. Because what's funny is I identify as a Republican now because I feel the middle has shifted to whereas before I didn't see myself as political, but now Republican actually seems more to the middle. So that's, I think, part of that shift that we're seeing. But specifically what I want to address in this video, there are 3 issues that I kept hearing for years brought up by the Democrats. And I always think, yes, but what is my call to action? So here they are. The environment is the first one. There's this sense of guilt that I should be doing more for the environment. Okay, well, you should recycle more. You should buy an electric car. And ultimately, all these things have been debunked. Ultimately, you can recycle all you want, but ultimately, that's not really doing enough to really turn this thing around. The real issue, plastic, it still exists. It's not illegal. I know that. So fundamentally, I know that recycling more is not really going to change anything on a big scale. I mean, it's so little of a thing that's not the actual problem, and I know that. So then it becomes, well, what's my call to action? And what's interesting is, from my understanding, having a private jet, being on a large aircraft, does a lot more damage to the environment as far as that goes. And people with the most money, especially entertainers and politicians, tend to be on planes more often. So to me, I just don't understand how that's a call to action to me. I also know that for me to continue driving the older vehicle that I have is still better for the environment than to allow there to be a new electric car produced. So I know all that. I've researched all of that, and I know that ultimately no one can clearly tell me what is my call to action. How do I save the environment? And ultimately, it just feels like the answer becomes vote Democrat and they'll take care of it. But that's not enough for me. I want to know what can I specifically do, and I can't get a straight answer on that. Another thing I can't get a straight answer on is racism. This concept that the Democrats are the ones to protect minorities and that the Republicans and Trump are the racists. That's the narrative. But ultimately, what can I do about it specifically as a man? Well, okay, so I need to go more to businesses that are run by minorities. Well, guess what? I did today. I went to a barber shop and everyone there is a Mexican American. So I did that today. I did the thing. But for the most part, what can I actually do? Since I'm not racist, what can I do? And I think the answer becomes vote Democrat because we're not racist. Well, so that's the call to action. See, that's what I feel. I feel like the answer is always just vote Democrat. Then that solves the problem. The third one is the patriarchy, which the patriarchy is probably the worst one for me, because the message had been received over the years that men are the problem, specifically white men are the problem. So then it's like, okay, well, what can I do about it specifically, since I am actually a good man? Well, the answer, I guess, becomes don't vote for Trump, vote for Democrats. So it's like, I feel that these 3 things, the environment, this concept of racism, and then the patriarchy, all are, they're designed problems where the only real solution is to vaguely vote Democrat. But it really makes me wonder, are these actual real issues that we're dealing with that are being caused by the Republicans or Trump? And it's really hard to imagine that is the case, especially when we've seen history made. We've seen more minorities vote Republican in this election and ultimately cause Trump to largely win this election. So those are some concerns I have. I feel like I can't get a straight answer specifically on what me as an individual is supposed to do to, help the environment, to not be racist, and the whole patriarchy thing, like that I need to apologize basically for being a man. Those are some issues that I have. And ultimately, you vote for Trump and Republican, then you don't have that sense of guilt, because then you start thinking, was it ever a problem? Your questions, your answers, your comments belong right here.